Simon, I'd like to. You talked about Poppy coming into the back row and some other changes there. I'm interested in Zoe Oldcroft playing at six again. She was on the Women's Rugby Pod this week and said that she's quite enjoying six and that different approach for her and getting more time on the ball. Is this just about trying to fit some excellent locks into the team, or do you see her maybe having a future more at six?
Morning, first of all, Matt. I think it's probably more about fitting excellent players into the team. She's multi-talented, is Zoe. She's a fantastic lock, but great athlete. And I know we've talked about Poppy quite a lot, but I'd also put an hand up for Zoe in terms of how she's played, not just over the last sort of autumn internationals and these games so far, but probably over the last couple of years. She's had some horrendous injuries and worked so hard to get back, and her contribution whenever she plays is amazing. And she's like Skaz has talked about leaders and things like that. She leads our line out along with Abby Ward and a number of others, but they're the two prominent ones. And when we didn't have Abby at all, Zoe stepped up and led the line out. I think it was through the Six Nations last time round. And not only did she sort of lead the line out, she actually, from our point of view, she won player of the tournament as well. She, from an England point of view, that's how good she is. And she's just continued it. She's just great athlete, great defender, carries the ball really well, athletic. So, as I say, it's another one of those versatility roles where she could very easily end up playing in the second row or in the back row. We're really, really confident about that. So, it's very much, Matt. It's very much about getting a world-class player into the environment as opposed to probably a lot playing sixth.
A nice problem to have, I guess, with how many players trying to compete for a few shirts. We've talked a couple of times through the tournament about the young players coming in, and obviously you've got a really strong squad there, and you don't give young players a chance for the sake of it. But Maud Muir, travelling reserve once again. What has she brought through this tournament, just being in the fold and being around the team?
Energy is one thing, to a squad that's pretty energised anyway, but she does stand out in that. But we've had lots of chats about Maud because she's really caught our eye. She's a really good rugby player for a start. She's a smart rugby player, very intelligent, understands the game, very aggressive around the field. She's a right dynamo. Got a great low body tackle, which is critical in these times particularly, and how the game's going to head defensively. Very abrasive around the contact area, very dynamic on the ball. Never gives the legs up in a tackle. So it's a bit like it's like trying to stop a cannonball when she comes at you in defence. We've reviewed a few of the sessions, and she's been very close to actually featuring. I think it's testimony to the players we've got in there that she hasn't featured at this moment in time. But 24th player is an important role because you've got to be ready to step in at any time. And her attitude's fantastic to everything, and hopefully it's been a big learning experience for her. We certainly intended it to be that. So, 24th player this week, who knows next week?
Awesome, thanks. And just one question for you, Emily. We've talked around leaders in the team. There are some people who we view as obvious leaders, like yourself and Sarah, but who are maybe the players who, from the outside, we don't maybe think are kind of critical in that kind of role, who are really shining in the group?
Yeah, Mids has obviously just spoken about Zoe and Abby Ward in terms of their contribution in terms of the line out, but kind of a bit broader than that as well. They really help out when we're looking at game plan stuff and some of the analysis. I think for me, especially in the backline, players like Sarah McKenna are really starting to step up and really find her voice. Obviously, she's an incredibly experienced rugby player, got a lot of knowledge, got a lot of experience, and a fantastic player in her own right. And it's been really nice to see her sharing some of that with the rest of the group. as well, players like Leanne Riley, just stepping up into that kind of fold, if you like. But yeah, we've got some fantastic leaders. We've got some, fantastic ideas and energy around the group. And it's just, as I said earlier, it's just about encouraging them to keep bringing that out. But it's definitely starting to happen.
Thanks. And last one from me. In terms of France's backline, they've got a lot of big names in there. Who's the one person that you're most kind of looking forward to, but at the same time apprehensive about seeing on that team sheet?
Well, I've not seen it. Is the team out? I'm not sure.
No.
Just theoretically, yeah. I think obviously the nines are always people that you look at in terms of French rugby. They always are their kind of little generals and kind of control a lot of what they do. They put their big physical forwards in the right places to do what they're really good at, and they control how the backs go. So they're definitely players that you have a close eye on. But then they've also got some wheels and some kind of talent out in the backs as well. Obviously, Boujard has got a decent try scoring record at the moment in the tournament, as well as the new fullback who just seems full of running. So yeah, there's quite a lot that we'd need to look at and keep a hold of. But at the same token, we've got some pretty good players as well, so it should be good.
Just a few. Thanks very much for your time, both. Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers, Matt.